All right. First of all, Ashlee Keating, thank you so much for joining me and doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're a Billboard chart topping artist, actress. Talk about your career from the beginning, from childhood, because I was reading you made your Broadway debut at age 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I basically, when I popped out the room, I was definitely like meant to be a performer, definitely destined to do what I'm doing right now. And I loved, all aspects of entertainment, performing, singing, dancing, and just, doing my thing. And I knew from day one that's like what I wanted to do. It's something that just always comes back to me. And um, I was on a TV show at 3 years old called Al Albert's TV Showcase. And that's kind of where everything started, where I would sing a song and tell a joke, which makes total sense with my personality as a little kid. And then I went on to do Broadway. I played Gretel in The Sound of Music with Richard Chamberlain, and then I did the national tour. I did a bunch of plays. I played Annie, and then I was actually on Star Search, CBS Star Search at 10, and that was like the first time I came to LA, and I just absolutely loved it here. I was like, I'm gonna move there someday for sure. And then kind of, fast forward a few years, I had gotten discovered by a producer, and that led me to being chosen for Radio Disney's Incubator Artist, which was a program during that time for like new up and coming artists. And they played my music, and they really like, I give, all the credit to like Radio Disney. I mean, when I was a teenager, that just kind of like started my pop music career. And yeah, the rest was kind of history. And I just kept working hard. And here I am today and just grinding. And I feel like I'm really just getting started right now.
Yeah. Talk about a little bit about the beginning, though, like when you first walked on stage at age 6 on Broadway. What was that feeling like then? And did you know at that point you were like, okay, yes, this is exactly what I want to do the rest of my life, even at that young age?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, like, I was told to, like, I would follow the camera around, like, all the time, like, doing just fun kid stuff. Like, if I was doing, like, a little show or whatever, like, I just had that outgoing personality, and I really loved being on stage. I never really got nervous, and I would remember all my lines. And I think theater also really, especially being on Broadway, has brought me to a point where I've used all those skills in being a pop artist and just in entertainment in general. I think it's a great way of like, using all of your skills where you are now and kind of growing on that. So yeah, I always just knew it's something like instilled in me that just doesn't go away.
And then transitioning to the music side of your career, you had hits with "Hurt Me So Good" and "Bad Mistake." So, what made those songs like such a big hit in your opinion? And how fun was it to like record those and then have them have a breakout hit like that?
It's kind of funny because those were actually the starting point of me writing, songwriting. And I tell people, like, a lot of the records that I've been releasing recently, I'm such a collaborative person and I really, really love collaborating with co writers. Those particular songs I wrote really on my own, and Hurt Me So Good manifested from like me being in a toxic relationship at the time. It's all about like, you're hurting me, but I like you and it's good at the same time. So like I keep going back. So it's kind of that pull and push kind of situation where you're like going back and forth with this person. And I just remember like going back in, my living room of my apartment at the time and going on my couch, and this whole song just literally, that's how I write songs sometimes. Like it'll just literally come out of nowhere. And first it'll be like a melody with like a little bit of a lyric, and then it just kind of manifests. And I remember going on my voice notes and voice memo, and I just started writing, and the whole song was literally done in like 2 hours, like hour to 2 hours. And I wrote it, had the melody and the lyrics, and then some of the production came to me. And what's funny about it is a producer at the time had another record that they wanted me to record and cut. And while I was talking to him, I was like, hey, like, I'm kind of scared to do this, but can you just like listen to this and see if it's cool? And he was blown away by it. And we did a bunch of records together. And it's kind of funny how like that was the standout song. And I really, really was like hands on. Like I wrote that record and I had the whole, like, I was like the guitars and this and that. Like I did that. And that was a top 10 record, which still to this day is mind blowing to me. And people know the lyrics and I think relate to it. And Bad Mistake was the same kind of thing. Like I was in the studio and then I started coming up with an idea, and then he was like, yeah, like come back, if you have the lyrics, blah, blah, blah. And then we tweaked it a little bit, but like I did that myself too. And like, sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. But to think that those two were Billboard, like, and I don't like to force songwriting. Like, I feel like if you're forcing something, if it doesn't just come to you, it's not it. It's not it. So
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
it comes to you, then you're there. But like it is wild to me. And I'm like I said, I'm just getting started now. And I think collaborating makes it even better because it's just like you're with a bunch of people and you're kind of tossing ideas, but it's wild how that manifested.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I always like music where the singer is the songwriter because you know what's going on in their mind. Because if it's not, then I always like look up to see who the songwriter is, maybe what they
Yeah.
meant by the song, or the kind of the story behind the song. And I know sometimes artists like won't even reveal it. They'll say, well, it's a personal message of what that song actually meant to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I find that interesting, and an extra talent when you can do both songwrite, sing, and like you did, produce essentially the whole album.
Yeah, it's very vulnerable. Like I feel like for the longest time I was kind of scared to be that vulnerable. Like I'm always like, are people gonna like this? Like I don't know, or like whatever.
Or they can think, is this about me? Right?
Or like all the exes are just like
All that.
they want to think about them. Like I've had guys like say to friends or whatever, be like, "Oh, she wrote that about me," and I'm like, "No, did not write that about you. No." So they love to think that, but I'm like, it's fun. It's fun.
Right, right. Yeah, you probably think the song is about you, right? The truth of those lyrics.
Facts.
Yeah. And speaking of songwriting, so your new song, "Nice and Naughty" for the holidays. Talk about that song, and then the video was just released last week. So, what was the theme for the video, and how did that come about? Like, how does the concept start from idea to it actually happening?
Yeah, well, I walked in the studio. I say this is kind of funny, like the day that we had our first session, and I knew production wise, like what I wanted to do, but I was so not in the holiday spirit at all. It was definitely not holiday season. Like I was actually in a whole nother mood to write a different record. But like my producers and I were like, okay, we were coming in for this, like so I kind of had to twist my brain that day and it started with us just chit chatting, joking around. Like we were talking about the holidays and we were just making jokes about, my life and like, oh, is he naughty or nice? And da 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 da, and like just joking. And then we're like, wait, this is kind of a cool play, like idea to take the naughty and nice list. And then we're like, but I was like, but I want a man who's like nice and naughty, and then we kind of were like, whoa, this is dope. Like, this is a cool idea, twisted, and so it's basically like me manifesting to Santa because, obviously Santa has the list and knows who's nice and naughty. So, and then I'm just like, hey, Santa, can you bring me a nice and naughty man who's, a little bit of both? And we just kind of flipped that. And then I went in the vocal booth and me and my co-writers, like, we just did a bunch of vocal passes. I actually shared some of like some inside of that from our sessions on my Instagram and my TikTok, which was really fun. And I was like, yeah, we're right. Are we writing a Christmas in July? Like it was literally that. It was actually June, but yeah. So it was good times, and that's kind of how it happened. That's literally how the production happened.
Yeah, and it's a great song, and obviously, and I think like post COVID, like anytime, I feel like the few holidays we've had since post COVID, like everybody's ready for the holidays. So, and have that like fun, positive spirit in a song like that. So,
Yeah, I wanted
yeah,
it to feel different and fun and a little sexy too, and just yeah,
has a
something
little
that
bit
you
of
could
everything.
yeah listen to it like you could literally listen. I feel like you could listen to the song like not even during the holidays. It's just like fun.
It'll become one of those classics like Mariah Carey's, right?
I hope. Oh my God, she's the queen. Are you kidding me? Like
She's
I'm
exactly.
Mariah's never gonna. I feel like her. She's gonna always have that crown for Christmas.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like every Christmas, like what songs pop up, and you're like, yes, that one is still a classic, and it's played like all the time. Anytime the station switch to Christmas, like you'll always hear these like 3, 4 songs,
It's
and
like
that's one of them. And then the other one, like "Last Christmas," I gave you my heart. That one, like you always hear that song. Yeah,
Jingle Bell.
classics. Jingle bells, yeah, yeah. And then some of just your advocacy work with the LGBT community. I know you've performed at some concerts for organizations. So how important is it for your platform, to use that to shine light on such groups and organizations like that?
Yeah, it means the world to me. Like I think all about, having the platform and the following that I do have is to spread love and positivity and goodness to the world, do something good for the world and share my truths and what, I believe in, to spread that. And I do have members of the LGBTQ community in my family, so it's very close and true to my heart. And being an ally to the community, and so anything that I can do to spread that, joy and happiness and love, and being just truly, genuinely being yourself. But I love being a philanthropist and getting involved with a lot of different organizations, and as much as I possibly can, because that's what it's about. It's not just about, what I'm doing. It's about giving, using my platform and giving to the world. So, but yeah, they're a huge part of my fan base and my family, my life. And so anything I can do to help and spread something, and make them be inspired by my music and me, means everything.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think now more important than ever is a time for it. Spread the positivity and all of that.
Yeah. I hope that, I have some more songs that are coming out, and I hope that the more they hear them and whatever, like it just inspires them and makes them feel whole and feel, who they truly want to authentically be. And I think, and not be afraid of that, because they really should just, live in your truth. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course. And then beyond acting and singing, you're passionate about fashion and dancing and makeup. So those interests, how do they influence your personal style? Your presence on stage and just in general in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been I'm so funny because like I'm super chill, and like I will just like wear sweatpants and like workout clothes and no makeup. I can totally be that girl, you know what I mean? But then I also am so like extra, and I love my nails, I love glam, I love being a pretty girl, and just like, my personality is very blonde. Like that is, if I meet other blonde girls, I'm like, yes, sis. Like I was at a Friendsgiving last night, and there was like a trio of us, and we're like sister. I was like, yeah, we're like sisters. Just like talk to each other. It's so funny. But yeah, like I think it just inspired, me as a person, my personality, and like on stage, like from the time I was a child, I loved dolls. I loved like Barbie and dolls and dressing up and like being cute, and I love glitter and glam. I just love it all. Like a being like the diva energy, and especially when I'm on stage. But I'm also like I'm two different people. Like I'm very chill and down to earth, and then sometimes even like like I could be tomboyish too. Like if I want to like play a sport or like whatever, and very cool girl like swag vibes. But then I'm very glam and diva esque, I should say.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And you like to travel with your puppy Coco. Talk about how your puppy keeps you grounded and how you enjoy that, traveling and having him go everywhere.
Yeah, I love him. He's the sweetest boy. Like I love him to death, and he's my child. He's my son. But yeah, he's 3 now, which is crazy. I got him at 3 months, and I'm like, where did the time go? But he's such a good boy, and he loves it all too. Like I've brought him to interviews and things before, and he just like I went to KTLA with him, and
Uh-huh.
he smiled the whole time, was such a good boy. Like he loves the camera. I'm like, you're just like your mom. Like, what is going on here? He's, you know what I
So
mean? And
yeah, so it was planned. He was on camera then on KTLA.
he didn't actually go on my interview, but like when we were backstage, like there,
Okay.
some of the people that interviewed me, we took pictures and stuff, and they're like, oh, let's add Coco, and like he was just smiling, and there's like lights and all that stuff. I'm like, he loves it, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure he got all the attention. Loved it.
he really definitely grounds me too. Like like I obviously take care of him, and it's just nice. I love animals, and I love how like I feel like they speak to you even though they can't talk,
Mhm.
and it's so beautiful. Like I love animals, and I love dogs, so I love him. He's my baby.
And what do you like to do when you're not traveling or working, just to like unwind and get away? I know you mentioned, your Friendsgiving last night. Do you like spending time with friends or just chilling? Like what does that look like?
Just doing like normal stuff, but also like I just love like Netflix and chilling and like watching movies and relaxing. And I've been decorating somewhat for Christmas, which is like a nice little hobby. Hobby, like put up the tree, which kind of is funny because it goes along with my whole Christmas. I'm very jolly this year. I'm like very like into this goes perfectly with my song, because I'm like, okay, I'm doing the decorations and doing all the things, and I just love doing like normal stuff, watching movies, chilling, and I love working out. I also randomly like I played tennis one time, only once, which was kind of fun with a brand recently. And then I golfed a little bit, like just like random cool, like chill stuff and hanging out with friends and just, being chill.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, so Christmas is a big deal to you then.
I love Christmas. Yeah.
And so what's next for you in 2025 and beyond? Any big projects, anything coming up you can
Yeah.
talk about or?
I can talk too much about right now, but I have a lot planned for next year. So just stay tuned. I'm really, really excited. And I'm already like beginning right now for next year. So it's kind of gearing up. I'm gearing up.
All right, for sure. And we'll be sure to promote all your social accounts in this interview in the show notes and on the website.
Yeah.
And last question, I just want to know what advice would you give to somebody who would want to follow in your footsteps, either in music, fashion, dancing, acting, influencer, all of the above.
Yeah, no, I think just definitely staying true to who you are and authentic to who you are. I think that speaks very truthfully through the internet, through your talents and gifts. Like, stay true to who you are and just don't worry about the haters. Don't worry about the people like on the internet. I think that's like a huge thing right now where, we can get caught up in what everyone else is doing, what other comments, what people are saying. So, really just remember who you are, be genuine, work hard, and don't give up.
Yeah, sure. Great advice. Great advice.
Yeah.
Well, Ashlee Keating, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck to you with your career and all your future success.
Thank you so much. Yeah, stay tuned for next year.
All right. Okay, definitely, I will.